YouTube, this is BUB'S Comics coming at you with a quick comic haul. We only got 5 books to show today, but we got some goodies. So first off, we have Savage Wolverine #1. Cover art is Frank Cho, although you can't see it there. There's nobody on the cover there. So basically what's going on here is that I collect these blank covers for conventions to get sketches done on conventions. Now, a lot of people will all right. There's 2 camps to me, right? A blank cover is meant to be used for something. So when I see a blank cover in a slab that's a 9.8 or something, and someone's trying to sell like a slabbed blank cover, a 9.8 blank cover, that's just like absolutely ridiculous. But the only reason why anyone would buy that is to guarantee or try to guarantee that it's a 9.8. And honestly, with the grading companies, I think right now are becoming more and more inconsistent. You know, the leading grading company, of course, being CGC. I don't think anyone would dispute that. You can say who you like better. You can say who grades tougher or anything else, or what services or pricing. But I think CGC at this point is the undisputed leader in the market as far as buying and selling of comics, which is truly what third-party grading is intended for. So, yeah, there's some preservation and there's some other things involved, but primarily it's to be a third party between a buyer and a seller. So when you take a blank cover and put it in there and it gets labeled a 9.8, maybe someone's thinking, well, if I crack that out and then use it to get a sketch on it or something, that I can pretty much ensure it'll still be a 9.8. Well, that still doesn't make any sense to me, because now I think CGC isn't even giving graders notes for anything 9.2 and above. So that's ridiculous. I mean, there's some noticeable differences, or there should be, between a 9.2 and a 9.8, or a 10 for that matter. And if you can't detail what those are, I think you instantaneously lose credibility as a company, and you're basically just saying take our word for it, which is not what's meant to be. We're all supposed to have high confidence in these grades, and when you take that away by putting no graders notes for those certain grades, I think that's a little ridiculous. I think even if everything that's not a 10 should have a note, and if it doesn't have a note, then that to me is something of a dishonest and misleading practice for a company to have. So in any case, here you have Savage Wolverine blank cover. Going to take this to Heroes Con very soon and see if I can get a sketch done on it. I've got about 5 or 6 that I take to every convention. Blank covers I take to all conventions, just in case I see an artist that I really want to get a sketch done by. So there you go. Next we have some legitimate Frank Cho art, and that's Frank Cho Jungle Girl Season 2. Loving these Jungle Girl covers. These Frank Cho covers are amazing. I have to say Season 2 has my favorite covers. I think there's only 4 or 5 of them, but I really do enjoy them. I think they look fantastic. And you know, that is just fantastic art. Frank Cho kind of reminds me a little with that snake coming out, a little bit of William Stott. If you ever see some William Stott books, he's a preeminent dinosaur art. You know, he's a premier dinosaur artist, but still he likes to put snakes at the bottom of his stuff, so that kind of reminds me of that. Great cover. Absolutely love it. Jumped on the bandwagon a little this week, but not for reasons that, you know, other people might have. Here's The Walking Dead 192. So I picked this up. I don't think there's any need for any spoiler alerts on this. This sucker was spoiled 5 seconds after it hit the stand. And it was already pre-done in the beginning. So this has the death of Rick Grimes in it. And what's funny to me is some people were already going crazy for 191. That has the first shot fired at Rick Grimes, and it's the first part of this little mini story arc. But it didn't mean anything to me. You know, when I heard that this issue had the death of Rick Grimes, I didn't read any of the comics. I was a fan of the show, but, you know, as most shows, once they get past the 4th season or so, they almost become unwatchable. Didn't really care. My wife and I tried to watch the rest of this show, couldn't get through it. It was just kind of crappy. I know some people really liked it still and were big fans, but really I enjoyed Rick's character, and you know, they started milling in so many other characters. It just really diluted that storyline. I just didn't care for it. Never read the comics. I've flipped through them a little bit. They're mostly pictures, not much story, and I wasn't really impressed. This one though, I ended up reading it online, and I said, you know what? as a commemorative end to me watching the show, which was not a big part of my life, but it was certainly a part of my life watching that show with my wife. So as to show the end of that, it was kind of nice to have this comic to commemorate that for me. Now, I don't think this comic's hard to find. I see tons and tons and tons of them available all the time. So, now I paid $6 for this. I picked up the last copy they had at the time on mycomicshop.com. So I thought for $2 over cover price, I did pretty well. And there's people trying to sell a lot more of them, and I feel their pain because when I was at my local comic shop, they had pre-sold out of this comic because they were doing a Tuesday night pre-sale to where they go on Facebook and they let everybody kind of buy up the comics that are about to be on the rack the next day. So that means if you don't have a pull list with this shop and you don't attend their Facebook, which I'm sorry, but I have other things to do at 8 o'clock at night on a Tuesday, right? So if you don't attend their pre-sale or have a pull list with them, and it's not even it's a pre-sale list, right? Then you're not going to get a hot comic. You're just not going to get it. Good luck with it, right? So you go in and you kind of pick through what's left, and usually for the books I'm picking up, that's no problem. But on this book, I went in there, they didn't have any left, and they were kind of like laughing at how fast they sold out and all this stuff. I'm like, well, that's cool. I'm sure I can find it somewhere else. And I did. The same day, mycomicshop.com had them. Picked it up for $6. Happy to have it. And that's just, for me, a nice little key that I'm going to keep in my collection. I didn't buy 100 of them or anything like that like other people are doing. There's a really high print run on this book, so don't overpay for this book. I understand if you can't find it anywhere else for a while, but just don't pay $30-$40 for that book. I think a nice round number would be about $15. If you can get this book for $15 shipped, I think that's a safe bet because it'll probably retain that value. Next, we're moving all the way from the modern. We're going all the way back in time to the golden age. And I'm actually going to go backwards a little bit because usually I'll show the lower numbers first, but this time we're going to show the higher numbers, and we've got Planet Comics 67. Complete with the Nymphs of Neptune. You heard it here first, folks. The Nymphs of Neptune. Unless you were around in 48 or whenever this book came out, then maybe you heard it then. But here is Planet Comics, Nymphs of Neptune, Lost World, Inferno of the Fifth Moon. So this is a book that I have been after for some time. When I first started researching Planet Comics and getting into all the issues and deciding which ones I was going to target first, this was high on my list. And it's not necessarily the art. Maurice Whitman cover looks pretty good. I do like the art. My wife likes her little wingtip shoes there. Look at that. Isn't that cute? And she's got a nice little outfit there, green hair and everything if you're into that sort of thing. And, nice looking lady, well drawn. Most of my collection are Joe Doolin covers, right? Because he did a big, huge spread on this run, especially in the latter issues, which are more affordable than the earlier issues. So I have a lot of those collected already. It's got a tape pull right there. I don't know if it doesn't come out too bad. It was one of those single pictures taken at an angle. It was like that, caught the glare just right. I mean, the seller knew what he was doing, and this was basically the way that I saw the comic. Was like that at an angle with the glare covering that one spot. Now, so that's okay. I'm not too tore up about it, but I absolutely love the cover because it's got this gnarly alien. Almost looks to me like a Wally Wood type alien. And you see that that's like not a real girl. It might be, but she's kind of being controlled or working with the alien. You see she's got her hand on him and her hair is kind of sparkling as if to say it's not something mystical going on. And she's enticing this fella down here who just can't hold himself back. Like, he just can't wait to go. Like, and the other guy's like, no, dude, no. So to me, this is like, being at the bar, and it's like closing time, and and from there, the guy's had a few drinks, and he's like, man, she looks like a solid 6 to me, man. I'm going after it. And the buddy's like, no, dude, that's a 2. That's a 2 all day. She might even be a 1 when you wake up tomorrow morning. Don't go. And he's like, nah, man, I'm going. Anyway, there's the alien Jim Beam there making all that magic happen in the morning. So Anyway, look, even the plant's happy to see him. So there you go, Planet Comics 67. Wanted this one because of the subject matter. I just thought it was awesome that the guy's holding his buddy back and he can't help it. Look at all the other crash landed stuff going on in the background. This is not their first rodeo. There's even a little dead guy hiding in the corner you don't usually see there. Look, he's dead over there. So anyway, stole this book. It was a great deal. I've dealt with this seller before. He's not the best. He's slow on shipping. Had to ask 3 times for a tracking number. But I got the book. I got it at a good deal. Not going to complain too hard. And maybe I'll be dumb enough to buy again from that guy. So we'll see. If he's got another good book, I probably will. And last, and certainly not least, we have Planet Comics number 21. I've got my first Rivet book. Yay! Let's see, we put a little fireworks. Woo! Psh, yeah! So really excited to have this one because I didn't think I would be able to secure a Rivet cover for a couple of years. They're pretty high in value and price. And to get a complete cover like this looks really good. Of course, the discoloration. I don't know how many of you other Golden Age collectors have come across this, but I'm eager to hear. So every now and then I'll come across a book that's kind of like, almost like it's greasy, like it's been greased, you know. And this is one of those books. Now they're not actually, when you touch the paper, they're not slimy or nothing comes off in your hands or anything like that. But it's almost like if you had a book and it was, you know, had someone spilled motor oil on it and then they wiped it off. So anyway, this book's kind of like that. I have a Wings comic, a couple of Wings comics that are like that as well. So this isn't the only book that I have like that. And I know that they're not molded, or the pages actually aren't very brittle either. You know, they're in good shape. Everything's in good shape, but the coloration of the cover has that kind of bronzish hue to it. So normally this cover would have more orange up here, not fire orange like that, but it's more orangey bronze, and you can still kind of see it in there a little bit, and then it kind of fades down to here. So this is a Dan Zolnerowicz. Yep, there you go. So it's a name I hardly ever hear said. So Zolnerowicz. I guess a Dan Zolnerowicz cover. And the rivets there, when you see those rivet covers, they went up to number 22 with rivets inside the planet. So there's some collectors that really go nuts over those rivets. And they get real expensive, so I didn't think I was going to be able to get this book at a fair price, or any other rivet covers at a fair price. So really, really happy to have this one. Just super psyched. Love it. It's a cool cover. It's a complete book, and it's my oldest one, November from number 21. So there you go. Really, I think it's from 1942, if I'm not mistaken. So you know, I'll have to check on that, but I think it's 1942. So there you go. That's my little haul. Hope you all enjoyed that, and picking up these Planet Comics and knocking them down, and then picking up some others. I'll be going to Heroes Con real soon. I'm looking forward to that, and hopefully get a lot of great books. And I'm going to hunt down some more of completing my Fiction House collection. And I'm going to be hunting Golden Age primarily, and there's a couple of fill-in kind of minor key books that I'm also looking for. So the first hunt will be to get a sketch cover done. Then the second hunt, you know, go ahead and secure some artists for sketches and for signatures, and then I'll start hunting Golden Age, and then I'll go back through the con again to hunt minor keys. So that's the plan. So we'll see. If you're at Heroes Con and you see kind of a Brad Pitt looking kind of guy, that's me. That's BUB'S Comics. Just go ahead and walk up to that guy, put $20 in his pocket, and tell him how much you enjoy his content. And if it turns out it was me, I'll shout you out on YouTube next week. So if it wasn't, I'm sorry, but maybe you made a new friend. So this is BUB'S Comics signing off, telling you all to read a comic. And also these Golden Age books are actually quite interesting on the inside. So if you can't read the main one because they're missing parts or something, go ahead and pick up a reprint. They're pretty awesome. So here you go. BUB'S Comics signing off, saying read a comic. Thanks. Bye.